Is it not great? um, so we're delighted that we have a couple of moments to have some conversation with our guests. We're going to do a hybrid, like some moderated onstage conversation. Then we're going to take some questions from you. If you do have a question, please keep it as succinct as possible and keep it germane to the film that we've just seen here tonight. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming and congratulating Mike Flanagan.
Thank you all for sharing tonight with me and with us. I want to invite our cast who are here tonight up to the stage. I noticed some of them didn't seem to get out of their seats, so I want to make sure they all come up. But for now, and in just the order that I will spot them back there, I see Annalise Basso. Come on out. Koryanka Kilcher. Where's Lillard? Where's Matt Lillard? Get up here, man. Come on. Come on, get up here. Taylor Gordon. Woo! Please get up here, Taylor. You go right over that way. They will rush you guys up. And back there, Karen Gillan. Come on out here, Karen. Kate Siegel. I know. Ooh. All over my face. Red lipstick for the. All right, Chiwetel Ejiofor, please come on out. Mr. Mark Hamill. All right, Taylor Gordon. Matthew Lillard. Then I want to bring out our producer, Trevor Macy, who I see back here. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Hiddleston.
All right, wow, what a cast. Thank you all for being here, congratulations. My first question is gonna go to Mike. Now that we've all seen the movie, tell us more about why the life of Chuck, but also how do you balance not sacrificing your voice, but also preserving King's voice?
You know, this was an instance where I felt like we were in somewhat harmony, and I hope Steve agrees. But this was a story through which I thought a lot of his heart just kind of poured through, and it poured through on the page. I had a hard time making it through reading it without crying, and especially at the end of the second act with, and he thinks that is why God made the world, just that. At that moment, I felt like this story and I understood each other. I think, and I hope you guys felt the same, that this story that Steve created is without an ounce of cynicism and full of joy and hope, while acknowledging all of the melancholy truth about our mortality. It's all kind of there. So it was a story that I felt was vital and true and incredibly moving, and I felt very lucky to be a part of it.
So Karen, Mark, and Annalise, I believe you've all worked with, I know you have all worked with Mike before. Can you talk a little bit about what are some of his attributes as a director that make you and want to keep working with him and to be a part of everything he envisions?
The ability to see the light in the darkness, and everyone who's here has seen his work. He's able to respect and embrace darkness and also embrace everything light and good and joyful. And this definitely has that heart. So that's why we work with him, because he is that. He's capable of great darkness through the stories that he tells, but also great, great kindness and joy.
I think for me, I just love working with Mike so much. He creates one of the most lovely, welcoming, safe atmospheres on a set I think I've ever experienced, and it sort of allows you, because you're quite in a vulnerable position as an actor when you're trying things and failing, and everyone's watching. But he makes you feel so safe, and that you can make mistakes, and you can try things, and some things work, some things don't. And I just really, really appreciate that. And yeah, I hope I get to work with you more because I love it.
We do. We love it. Sir.
Well, I was a huge fan of Mike before Trevor, and Mike came over to talk to me about The Fall of the House of Usher. I'd seen Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, and Midnight Mass, and we watched it as a family. And what happened was, as soon as I decided that I should do this, I'm so grateful to him because I was playing this amoral, soulless sociopath. And I thought, I'm glad he thought of me. But to be quite honest with you, he thought so outside the box. I'd never been offered a role as challenging and as different from what people expect from me. So I'll be forever grateful. And to her point, the atmosphere on the set is much like Mike himself. He's welcoming, he's kind. I've never seen him get angry. I've never seen him raise his voice. And there's a sense of family there. And that motivates you to do your best. And that's all due to Mike's deep talent.
Thank you.
I want to talk about dance because it plays a very big role in this movie. So I think you know where I'm going with this one. Tom, talk to us a little about dance and dancing. And in that sequence, which is one of my favorites in the whole movie, how long did it take you, the practice? Tell us about those moments.
I loved it. Well, just to go back a step, Mike and Trevor first sent me the script, and I think, perhaps rather like some of you tonight, I found the first act so full of mystery and intrigue as I was following Marty and Felicia, and the world seemed to be ending, and it was so compelling and fascinating. I was reading it, and the pages were turning. I thought, where is this going? And then as I realized that the constellations in the night sky were constellations in the mind of this mysterious figure, Chuck Krantz, and then you get to meet Chuck, and I understood that it was about the many multitudes we all contain within us. And then I got to the section where you meet Chuck, and he's an accountant, and he's wearing the armor of accountancy, the gray suit, the Samuel Windsor Oxfords, and his life is narrower than he perhaps had thought. And he hears the beat of that drum, and he puts his briefcase down and starts swinging his hips. And that this moment was about spontaneity and joy, and that it was a miraculous accident, this moment in time. And I think many of our lives contain those moments. And that's really what the dance is there to express, is that Chuck, in that moment, is expressing everything that he is on the inside, everything he was as a boy, everything he used to be, everything his grandmother taught him, all that experience at school, that he isn't just an accountant, he isn't just the job that was given to him, and that his internal world contains so much greater range and depth. And it was so resonant. I was so excited when I read it. I thought, wow, what an amazing turn. And it was a turn that exists in Stephen King's short story, a turn exists in Mike's screenplay. And I just wanted to do it. And I said to Mike and Trevor, please, can I do this? And they said, yes. And then it was really about understanding that moment had to encapsulate all of Chuck's boyhood, all of his joy, all of his training, all of his freedom, all of his innocence, that he was winding back the clock and dancing like he was 10 or 11 or 12 or 13, 14 years old. And so we began. I did not have the same training in my life. And I worked with Mandy Moore, the extraordinary choreographer who put the sequence together, and Stephanie Powell in London. And Annalise worked with Mandy in Los Angeles. I worked with Stephanie in London. And all the time working with Taylor, who wrote the music and put the music together, and which is extraordinary. And we began at the beginning, jazz, swing, cha-cha, didn't know samba either, bossa nova, polka. The moonwalk was essential and new to me. So I had a similar version of what the twirlers and spinners go through. Anyway, it was a most extraordinary period. And then there was a week in London where Taylor and Annalise and Mandy came to London. We put the whole thing together. And it was, I think we shot the sequence in 4 days. Annalise and I danced all day, every day. And Taylor played all day, every day. And it was one of the most joyful, one of the most expressive, one of the most free, one of the happiest periods of my working life, those 4 days. It was magic. And I loved it.
Thank you.
So we have time for 1 or 2 questions from the audience, if you're game. So if in the front, yes, very energetic.
Hi, the film was exquisite, thank you. My question is actually kind of a follow-up for you, Tom. So music obviously plays a really big part of this for Chuck. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you found Chuck with music, like if there was something that inspired you to find your character, like you listened to or something.
If I could repeat for the benefit of everyone, she's asking Tom about an extension of what you just spoke about, but was there musical inspiration that you listened to help find the character of Chuck?
I went back to the greats in the way that I think that's what Chuck does. I went and, you look at some of the old Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers routines, Gene Kelly, one of the greatest to ever do it. There were so many versions of those songs. When we were practicing and rehearsing, we'd play loads of different types of music. And actually, in the end, my biggest inspiration was Taylor, who was conducting me behind her drum kit. And I was dancing with her as much as I was dancing with Annalise. We were all dancing together. And it is extraordinary and bravura what Taylor does in this. And if you know and you're listening.
Yeah.
She is effortlessly switching between rhythms and styles. It really truly does go from jazz to swing to salsa to bossa nova to polka in that one sequence. And you never missed a beat. And it really was just about, I just played that track over and over and over again. I can't isolate any other pieces of music really that I can think of. Apart from some of that, some of the Fred and Ginger stuff. Swing Time.
We listened to that song probably no less than 150 times, and it never got old. And that's how you know you have something really special. We listened to the song so many times, and every time we danced to it, it was new and amazing. And yeah, so it was magic. Thank you, Taylor.
Okay. One more quick one. Yes, go ahead. So this is a question, again, about dancing, but for Mike. So how do you, as a director, keep the energy going over those 4 days? How do you plan out and do that sequence?
I can take no credit for keeping any energy going over those 4 days. That came entirely from Taylor and Tom and Annalise and from the crew. I think what we got excited about was we got to go through a full history of dance in movies. And we started very early in the 20s and 30s and began to go through dance sequences and see how they've been filmed over the years, because we wanted to evolve and change our styles as Taylor changed her styles and as the dance evolved. And you have this amazing revelation that for so long the camera plants itself kind of like an audience looking up at the dancers on the stage and just pans. And then a whole new axis is introduced as it starts to come in and out and as it starts to track. And then Bob Fosse shows up and all fucking bets are off. And the filmmaking and the editing becomes a dancer. And so we were tracking all of that and got to go through this incredible education and kind of got to fall in love with dance on screen again. And at the end of those 4 days, I remember watching the very last take, which I know we're running out of time, but I'll do this very fast, I promise. It's a very long scene. And the actors had to do it from start to finish every time. Because if something silly went wrong or a cloud covered the sun, which meant we couldn't use it for continuity, we couldn't stop because it would be just brutal to say, okay, stop, wait a second, and continue. It wouldn't work that way. So they would go from top to tail knowing sometimes that it wasn't gonna work or missing a step or just succumbing to the exhaustion of it. And then something happened on day 4, which was after Tom had burned holes in the bottom of his shoes and Annalise had lost a toenail, 2 toenails in there. And we didn't know that because she knew we'd stop. So she was holding that secret. And we ran 1 take from start to finish. We had 4 shots left on our exhaustive shot list to finish the scene. We ran a take that was perfect from start to finish. And the amazing thing was that they could feel it. You could see it in the performance, that the actors could feel it, Taylor could feel it. The background, who had been watching this for 4 days and who looked genuinely delighted 4 days through, because they were, everybody could feel it. And I remember when we cut the take and I came out from where the video village was, and I remember Tom running up toward me saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, did you see? And it was like, yes, that was perfect. And I looked at the joy pouring out of him and out of Annalise and out of Taylor and out of the faces of everyone surrounding us. And I knew that we were done. And that whatever other shots we hadn't quite picked up didn't matter. And that it was never going to be better than it was in that moment. So we called a wrap on the scene. I remember the crew in the background and everybody came together into like a 150-person group hug. And that take is a low angle that tracks with them, kind of pointing at the drums. You see it from the very beginning when Tom first backs up, and we revisit that shot throughout the sequence. It's the one shot we use more than any other because it was a perfect take. And the question was about how I kept up the energy. I had nothing to do with it. I held on and I watched the monitor every day, smiling and laughing. And I went home every night with my face sore from smiling, from watching them. And then I saw something perfect, and I knew it was time to quit. And that's all I did.
You promised us joy, and you brought us joy. Please join me in congratulating them on a wonderful film. And thank you so much for bringing it to us. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.